Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Armored Warfare with Private Benji. Today I'm going to be going over some of the changes coming on patch 0.19, and they're considering this the Balance 2.0. One of the main points that's going to be that they're changing is the basics of scaling, and that's where the damage curve between the tiers will be flattened out, with the exception of improvements in like penetration characteristics as tier level increases. And this is, due to improvements in the materials and shell manufacturing through development as the tanks got newer in time. Um, Another thing, dealing with the damage curve, 105mm shell, and this goes out through all ranges. A shell at tier 4 will deal the same damage as a tier 6, 7, 8, etc. They should all have the same, pretty close to around the same amount of damage through the tiers. And also the damage will scale now based on cannon size. So a 90mm will be around 360 hit points, 105mm will be around 420, and then 125mm will be roughly around 500 hit points. Going on in the next bit, for basics of scaling, hit points between the tiers is going to be scaled flatter. For example, the T64 tier 4 will have 2230 hit points, while the tier 6 T64 BV will have 2285 hit points. So that's only a 55 hit points difference between tier 4 and tier 6. So that the hit point curve is actually going to be a lot flatter than what it is before. And then this basically, with Obsidian changing this is going to remove the precedent that like lower tiers won't just be seal clubbed by higher tiers in every single match. Ammunition is the next topic I'm going to be discussing. Ammunition is going to be relegated to 5 primary ammo types. You got the AP rounds, which includes AP, APDS, and also the AP fin discarding Sabo rounds. And the next one will be the heat, which includes just heat, of course. Hash is going to be high explosive squash head or high explosive plastic rounds. HE, high explosive, of course, and then ATGMs. AP will have the highest accuracy and velocity of all the shell types. It doesn't matter when you're stationary or on the move, it's going to have the highest accuracy out of all of them. It won't be defeated by explosive reactive armor or cage armor. And then the penetration spread between based on its average value will only be plus or minus 10%. So that's a good capability for having armor piercing or AP rounds in that sense. Going on to heat will get a chance to start a fire on impact and retains its higher base penetration value, or it does have a higher base penetration value. It does have a lot more disadvantages though. Basically, it can be defeated by armored protection systems like ERA and spaced armor. It does perform worse on angle armor and also has a plus or minus 15% base penetration spread. Moving on to hash or high explosive plastic, that gets a 25% bonus when the armor is less than 50% of the shell diameter. So the shell is 120mm shell. If you hit a 60mm armor plated tank, you will actually deal an extra 25% damage. And it does have the same penetration spread as armor piercing, but it also ignores armor angling in a sense, but it limits it up to about 70 to 85% armored angle. It is the slowest shell type and the least accurate, so take that into account when you're trying to do long range sniping rolls with it. It's also easily countered by armor protection systems like ERA, spaced, and caged armor. Moving on to high explosive, full pen does result in extra damage, but it doesn't need to penetrate to deal the damage. It works best against very thin armored tanks. It has the lowest penetration value, and it's also a low velocity, but it's not lower than Hesh in regards to that. And also another disadvantage is it will deal very little, if any, damage at all to a vehicle if it hits 100 millimeters of armor. Moving on to the next thing, main battle tanks will get an increase accuracy while on the move. As you can see, the aiming bloom is bigger in patch 0.18, but it's a lot smaller in patch 0.19. This, remove, and then moving on to the next one, I'm guessing this is part of the mechanics. The shell normalization has been completely removed from game. They were having issues with causing damage through a pixel weak point on vehicles that weren't even designed to have that pixel weak point. And it'll also make angling armor an actual usable tactic in the game. Moving on to armor changes, there have been an increase. They have increased the amount of armor thickness values. For examples, they say there's an increase from 6 thickness values to 14 thickness values on the turret alone in this next patch. And this definitely leads to a better representation of real world data collected. Suspension hits on vehicles won't just pass through underneath without damaging anything. It will damage at least the suspension of the vehicle due to modeling the damage into the vehicle struts in road vehicles now. So, and also if you do pass underneath the tank, it will not count towards hull damage because basically completely misses the hull if it goes directly underneath. They have removed driver hatch weak points on tanks that never even had them. They did have them before, but they've removed it completely. This also led to them increasing the armor thickness while composition modifiers have been decreased, so like chopper armor for instance. They stated that it does bring it in line with real world data, which increases some side hull armor on vehicles, but not all of them. And then they have also introduced other weak points into the armor system, mostly dealing with the turret ring, some mantlet areas on the turret, and then mostly lower glacis plates. And of course, these weak points will vary depending on the vehicle in play, of course. Going on to the next one, we got core mechanic changes that they're introducing. There are going to be significant changes to all vehicle classes. For instance, artillery is all going to be moved into one class, and that's going to be on the Zhang Fan dealer, and he's going to have all the artillery. So if you want to play artillery, you're going to have to go to him and get your your SPGs. Main battle tanks are going to get an increased forward acceleration rate, but the whole traverse has been lowered slightly. And here's another thing hopefully a lot of people are going to be excited about. Wheeled vehicles will be slower off-road, but they're going to be most maneuverable on the pavement and faster. Wheeled vehicles will be easier to control and will be slower to respond at higher speeds, so it'll make it a little easier to drive them around on the map themselves. So, of course, light tanks and AFVs will have the best off-road capabilities, but they are also slower than wheeled vehicles on the hard surfaces. Oh, here's the exciting part right here. Wheeled vehicles will now be able to be immobilized for some time if 3 of their wheels are destroyed. So think about that, guys. When you destroy three wheels on those things, they should be stopped, and they will have to either use a repair kit or wait for at least one of those wheels to get repaired. And also going on about with the wheels getting destroyed, they will also get worse handling characteristics after that happens. They've also changed track damage behavior, and they've switched the weak points to the idler wheels, front sprockets, and rear sprockets. So to immobilize the tank, you're going to have to hit one of these weak points. The weak points are smaller now, but at least you know where you're going to be able to hit to immobilize the tank. They've also introduced a new 3-charge repair kit, and that's going to be on all tanks, along with a similar consumable for healing crew members. That's going to be one of those things that it might cause some issues if people are, if they don't understand it. I believe that's going to be further better, because they've actually increased the amount of time it takes to repair a damaged track or a damaged wheel on the vehicles. So also coming in patch 0.19, they're doing a progression reset. They're going to give full compensation on the account that you have, and you're only going to get one. Only one, guys. So remember, if you want to reset your progression completely, if you're going to reset your progression completely, you're only going to get one reset for your play, for your count, and if you don't use it, it will expire 1 month after the release of patch 0.19. With the full compensation on that, they're going to refund all credit, gold, anything spent on modules and upgrades. All of that will be refunded, and along with that, all reputation will be refunded on top of that. And then also any gold spent on a battle hard status, that will be refunded, and any customization, whether it was credits or gold, that will be refunded on top of that. Going on to about the progression reset, it's instantaneous and it doesn't require anything else. You don't need to log out or anything. It'll do it automatically in game once you hit that button, or once you choose that option in game. Moving on to premium and reward vehicles, they're going to get rebalanced to fit within 2.0 or balance 2.0, and there's not going to be any kind of tier reduction. Also, and the only vehicle, actually I take that back, there's not going to be any tier reduction, but there's only one vehicle that is truly affected, and that's the Centauro 120 Wolf, and it's going to be the only tier 9 premium vehicle, and it will no longer be sold after patch 0.19 launch. So you guys got to remember that. If you want to get it now if you can. So as a final word, I think this is going to be great for this entire ecosystem of Armored Warfare. I mean, I love the game, and if you guys do get a chance, check out the fact they've got quite a few frequently asked questions on there. And the one that I would like to see is maybe a Steam release to help the community of Armored Warfare grow. I mean, I am looking forward to that altogether. So I do appreciate you guys stopping by and catching up on Balance 2.0, and I hope to see you guys on the battlefield. So thanks for checking out my video. Hope to see you guys next time.